Today's lesson is called The Surprising Origins of Quirky Christmas Customs. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Roger. Welcome to our program, and Merry Christmas, everybody. If you're celebrating, I think most people still have to work today. It's not an official holiday here in Taiwan, but it certainly is in a lot of Western countries. I can just imagine my family back in the USA having the day off, and there's snow on the ground outside the window, and they're getting ready to open their presents. And opening presents and hanging stockings over the fireplace are common Christmas traditions. But, you know, in our program last time and today, we've been talking about unusual Christmas traditions or quirky Christmas traditions.
Unusual, but in a good way, like stockings. It's kind of a weird custom, but it's also charming. I like hanging up my stocking with my daughter and then filling it with presents for her. So people might think it's weird to hang up your socks, but hey, stockings are still fun and endearing and quirky. So yes, these Christmas customs that we're talking about, they're quirky. They might seem a bit odd, but after a while, you'll start to think that they're pretty cool and pretty fun. Anyways, we talked about stockings and mistletoe and also Christmas pickles last time. Now, I know what stockings are. I hang up a stocking every year. I also know what mistletoe is, even though we never had mistletoe in our house growing up. But the Christmas pickles thing, that was brand new by me. Christmas pickles. What an interesting custom. And by the way, no one really knows where that custom came from. There are some ideas, but this particular quirky custom, no one's clear about where its origins came from. How interesting and also how mysterious. All right, folks, with that, let's go ahead and take a short break. But when we come back, we'll be learning some more about the origins of quirky Christmas customs.
Yule log cakes. Cake is a common dessert at any holiday celebration, but at Christmas, many people eat it in the shape of a wooden log. The Yule log started as a real log. Families would go out into the forest together and carefully select one to bring home. They would then burn it during the 12 days of Christmas to cleanse themselves of the previous year and bring good fortune for the new one. Later, Parisian bakers started competing to see who could make the most realistic-looking log cake, and the trend caught on.
各位好，第一部分我们看到单字 Yule， 这个字是名词，它的字首通常要大写，指圣诞节。像 Yule log 就是指在圣诞夜时焚烧的大块木头。例如 Yule log cake is a common holiday dessert during Christmas time. 圣诞原木蛋糕是圣诞节期间常见的佳节甜点。再来，我们看到一个动词 cleanse， 意思是净化、清洁。例如 My mom helped me cleanse the wound after I cut my hand. 妈妈在我割伤手之后帮我清洁伤口。另外，这个字除了上面的意思，也可以指使道德上纯洁，使净化。像是 The president claimed to cleanse the nation of human traffickers. 总统表示要肃清国内的人口贩子。接着我们看到片语 catch on， 表示开始流行，蔚为风潮。举例来说 Carla tried to start a new fashion trend, but it didn't really catch on. Carla 试着带动起新的时尚风潮，但并没有流行开来。另外 catch on 后面接 to something， 有理解、明白的意思。我们可以说 It took a while for people to catch on to recycling, but now everyone does it. 人们花了一些时间才了解资源回收这件事，现在每个人都身体力行。
Okay, of course, as you know, there are many Christmas traditions that are celebrated all over the world, like giving presents, hanging stockings on the wall. But, of course, the thing you're probably most excited about is the food, Christmas food. I remember we used to make Christmas cookies when I was a kid. My mom would bake the cookies, and then she would spread the frosting on them in red, white, and green colors, the colors of Christmas. And then me and my sister would decorate them, and then we'd have all these boxes of Christmas cookies. So Christmas cookies is a tradition, but we've also got something called the Yule log cake, which I've heard of, and I've never had it before. I've had fruit cake. My grandmother always brought over a fruit cake at Christmas every year. But yeah, Yule log cakes, that sounds kind of interesting. Have you ever had a piece of Yule log cake?
No, and I haven't had fruit cake either, okay? We had tons of them in our house when we were growing up around Christmas time, but I think we knew better than to eat fruitcake, actually. Yeah, fruitcake isn't very tasty. It's one of those traditional dishes that no one really likes to eat, except for really old people for some reason. Anyways, yeah, so there you go. That's fruitcakes. But a Yule log cake, which is also going to be found around the holidays, it's going to be slightly different. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into Yule log cakes right now. Cake is a common dessert at any holiday celebration, but at Christmas, many people eat it in the shape of a wooden log. So there you go. It's a Yule log cake. You might be wondering, where does this word Yule come from? Sometimes when people talk about holiday spirit around Christmas time, they'll say, hey, get into the Yule time swing of things, okay? So when they use this word Yule, they're just talking about Christmas time and Christmas time festivities and feelings and stuff like that. So if you need to get into the Yuletide swing of things, you better get Christmas on your mind and start acting happy because, yeah, it's the happiest time of the year. It's Christmas time. Get into the Yuletide spirit.
Yep, cake is common at a holiday celebration. So, of course, anytime you're celebrating a holiday, you're getting together with family, having parties, laughing, singing, opening presents, you are celebrating, and celebration is a noun. It's a celebration. We should all have fun.
Anyways, let's go ahead and move on here. The Yule log started as a real log. It did not start as a cake. The Yule log started as a real log. Families would go out into the forest together and carefully select one to bring home. Then they would light it on fire.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. So a log here, of course, is a piece of wood that has been cut from a tree. It's usually cylindrical in shape, okay, round on the sides and flat on the top and bottom, okay? So yes, it would be a real log, and they would select one and bring it home from the forest. And then they would burn it during the 12 days of Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. The 12 days of Christmas, I guess traditionally Christmas was celebrated over a period of 12 days. But they would burn this log to cleanse themselves of the previous year and bring good fortune for the new one. So cleanse here just means to wash something, usually meaning you clean something dirty away. Cleanse yourself of your sickness. Quit being such a greedy person and start being generous.
There you go. You can cleanse yourself, or you can purify yourself to make something pure. That would be a similar word that would work here as well. But yes, they burn this log, and the idea was to get rid of or to cleanse themselves of that previous year and to start the new year off on the right foot. Yeah, they want to have good fortune in that new year, so they go ahead and they burn a Yule log. That was the custom. Now, later, Parisian bakers started competing to see who could make the most realistic-looking log cake, and the trend caught on. It became popular. How about that? So people no longer burn Yule logs, I don't think, but the Yule log cake, it's still a thing. This is a trend that has caught on, and apparently it started there in Paris. Parisian bakers, people who work at or own bakeries there in Paris, they started competing with one another. They started making these Yule log cakes, and the idea was to make a cake that looked a lot like a log. They wanted a realistic-looking log cake. How about that?
Realistic, right. That just means as close to real as possible. So if you saw this log on someone's table, you might say, hey, why do you have a log on your table? That's ridiculous. It's silly. No, it's a piece of cake. No, I can't believe you. It looks too much like a log. So it was realistic looking. It looked just like a log. And that was sort of a competition among Parisian bakers. And then it spread from Paris to the rest of the Western world. Okay, that brings us to the end of our first part. Let's move on to the next part and talk about milk and cookies. Yum.
Milk and cookies. Santa Claus distributes gifts to kids around the globe. It seems only fair that they give him something too, which is why many kids leave out milk and cookies overnight for him. What most kids don't know is that this tradition started as a gift to the eight-legged horse of the Norse god Odin, who hopefully would leave presents in return.
第二部分我们看到一个动词 distribute， 意思是分配、发配，像是 distribute something to somebody， 就表示将某物分配或分发给某人。例如 The teacher distributed the test paper to the students in her class。 老师将考卷发下去给他班上的学生。另外补充这个字的名词 distribution， D-I-S-T-R-I-B-U-T-I-O-N distribution 指销售、分发、分配。我们可以说 This company is in charge of the distribution of all sorts of products for the home。 这间公司负责销售各种家用商品。接下来我们看到一个副词片语 in return， 表示作为回报、作为交换。举例来说 I helped Morris paint his apartment, and in return he brought me out to dinner。 我帮 Morris 粉刷他的公寓，他便请我出去吃晚餐作为报答。另外 in return 还有以下两种用法。第一 in return 后面接 for 加名词，表示以点点点回报，以点点点报答。例如 I treated Kristen to lunch in return for her favor。 我请 Kristen 吃午餐以回报她的帮忙。第二 ask something in return 表示要求某事物做回报。我们可以说 Samantha never asks anything in return when she helps others。 Samantha 帮助他人时从不要求任何回报。
All right, folks, we've arrived at a quirky Christmas custom that doesn't really seem all that quirky to me. Some people think it's quirky, but I did this growing up every year. Yeah, I would leave Santa Claus milk and cookies. It's just what we used to do, but some people do think this is quirky. Some people also think that the hanging up of stockings is kind of quirky as well. I guess it's quirky if you're an outsider looking in, or when you consider how doing these things at any other time of year and not Christmas time would be considered kind of odd. So in that way, I guess you could say that they are definitely quirky. Anyways, let's move on to milk and cookies. Yes, Santa Claus distributes gifts to kids around the globe. Yeah, everybody knows this. Even though Santa Claus is a fictional person or fictional being, people do know Santa Claus as being that jolly guy with the red suit who flies around the world on Christmas Eve and delivers or distributes gifts to kids everywhere. Yeah, by the way, if you distribute something, you kind of hand that thing out, or you can deliver things like Santa would. But the idea here is that, yes, all these kids get gifts from Santa. By the way, you can use this word more literally. When you do distribute some test books, let's say, at school, you're handing those things out. Yeah, before an exam, your teacher might walk around the classroom and distribute the tests themselves, and she makes sure that every single person has one of those test booklets. Now, it says here that Santa, though, he distributes gifts or presents to kids around the globe. Now, here the word globe means the world. Basically, Santa gives gifts to kids all over the world. He visits kids worldwide, globally, or all over the globe.
Yep, if they're good, of course, they'll get presents, and if they're bad, they'll get a sack of coal, which might be good if we ever have an energy crisis, but it seems only fair that they give him something too, which is why many kids leave out milk and cookies overnight for him. So some kids are actually quite generous here, and they understand the concept of fairness. Well, you know, Santa Claus is going to all that trouble to make those presents for us at the North Pole and then land on our roof and come down the chimney and put presents under the tree. Well, it seems fair that we should give him something in return. It seems only fair. It is a fair thing to do that they should give him something too. Well, Santa Claus gave me something. I'd like to give something to him in return to express my gratitude. So they often leave out milk and cookies overnight for him. Overnight means during the night hours, especially when people are sleeping.
There you go. Now let's move on. The next sentence says, what most kids don't know is that this tradition started as a gift to the eight-legged horse of the Norse god Odin, who hopefully would leave presents in return. Now, you already talked about this phrase, in return. That much I'm familiar with, but I had no idea that the milk and cookies thing, that goes back to Norse mythology. Basically, you left milk and cookies out as a gift to the eight-legged horse of the Norse god Odin. How interesting is that?
Yep, Odin, the supreme god in Norse mythology. Norse refers to Norway or Scandinavia. So he had a really special horse with 8 legs. I guess Odin didn't need any presents himself, but the horse was working hard, so they would leave out milk and cookies for that horse so the horse could continue to carry Odin around the world, and maybe he would leave presents as a way of thanking them for giving the horse that food. Isn't that wonderful? They would get presents in return or in exchange for that. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Time now to move on to the third. We'll listen first and wrap things up.
Though these traditions might seem odd to anyone who didn't grow up with them, to others they play a fundamental role in bringing people together and setting the tone for a joyful holiday.
第三部分，我们看到形容词 fundamental 指十分重要的、基本的、最根本的、基础的。举例来说 ，Access to healthcare should be a fundamental human right. 拥有就医权理当是最基本的人权。另外，这个字除了可以当形容词，还可以做名词用，指基本原理、基础知识。我们可以说 This class teaches the fundamentals of the English language. 这堂课教的是英语的基本知识。
Okay, folks, the name of our lesson is The Surprising Origins of Quirky Christmas Customs. Now, a couple of these customs were just weird and strange, and I'd never heard of them at all, like Christmas pickles. But yes, that sounded quirky to me. The rest of these, though, sounded pretty natural, okay? I grew up leaving milk and cookies out for Santa. We hung our stockings and stuff like that. And yeah, maybe the Yule log cake thing, maybe that was a little bit weird, but for the most part, these did not seem all that quirky to me. So, though these traditions might seem odd to anyone who didn't grow up with them, to others they play a fundamental role in bringing people together and setting the tone for a joyful holiday. Yes, hanging the stockings is a great way to bring your family together. It's a great way to really elevate the mood in a room during the holidays. So yes, even though let's say you're not Christian and you look on these customs, you might think they're strange and weird, but for people on the inside, people who actually practice these customs, or at least they celebrate Christmas, they're very important to us, these customs are. They do play a fundamental role or a central role in bringing people together during the holiday season.
Yeah, so as an example here, I think it's kind of strange, or a strange tradition that people here in Taiwan have of cutting up the skin of a pomelo and making it into a hat. I know you can do that and you have fun with it, but to us, that's kind of strange and unusual, but still, we respect it. It sets the tone for a joyful holiday. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Time now to listen to our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分介绍到留牛奶和饼干给圣诞老人的习俗。他说，圣诞老人发送礼物给全世界的孩童， It seems only fair that they give him something too, which is why many kids leave out milk and cookies overnight for him. 似乎孩子们也要给圣诞老人一些东西才算公平，这也就是许多孩子会把牛奶和饼干留在外头一整夜给他的原因。好，句子里面的 which 指的是前面提到的整件事情，那么 which is why 什么什么就表示说前面提到的那件事情就是什么什么的原因。好，那我们另外其实是要介绍句型 It seems only fair 加上 that 子句，这表示说似乎怎么样才公平。好，其中的 it 它是虚主词，用来代替后面的 that 子句。举例来说 It seems only fair that we split the shipping cost. 似乎我们一起分摊运费才公平。好，那这边顺便帮同学们补充连缀动词 seem 的用法。seem 当连缀动词表示似乎好像，那我们第一种用法可以用 seem to be 加上名词或形容词，其中的 to be 可以省略不用。举例来说 The book seems interesting， 或是说 The book seems to be interesting， 这本书似乎很有趣。好，第二种用法是 seem to 加原形动词，像是 Everyone seemed to enjoy the show， 大家似乎都很喜欢这场表演。那么第三种用法是 It seems 加上 that 子句，表示说某件事看似怎么样怎么样，那么其中的 it 是虚主词。例如It seems that she has found her Mr. Right. 看来她似乎已经找到她的真命天子了。好，那课文最后提到说，这些圣诞节的传统在凝聚人们以及为欢乐的节庆增添气氛上扮演的重要的角色。They play a fundamental role in bringing people together and setting the tone for a joyful holiday. 好，句子里面用到 play a role加上 in 再加名词或动名词，那么 play a role 从字面上的意思是说饰演一个角色，我们后面可以用 in 再加上这个戏剧作品来表达说在什么当中饰演一角。可是呢，这个用语也可以用来表达对什么有影响，在什么当中占有分量，那它的用法就是 play a role in 加名词或动名词。我们也可以用 part 来替换当中的 role。好，那接着呢，还可以在 role 或是 part 前面加上形容词，像是加上 important 重要的， major 主要的， key 关键的， crucial 决定性的重要的等等。而课文里面则是用 fundamental 来形容十分重要的。那我们来造个例句 The internet plays an important part in our everyday lives. 网络在我们的日常生活中扮演了重要角色。好，以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Celebration. The ball drop in Times Square is one of the most famous New Year's Eve celebrations in the world. Distribute. The charity organization distributes food, blankets, and clothes to the homeless. Globe. Hollywood movies are popular not just in the United States, but around the globe too. Overnight. The students left their projects out on the table so the glue could dry overnight. Fundamental. Everyone knows that exercise is a fundamental part of a healthy lifestyle, but that doesn't mean everyone has time to do it.
Discussion starter starts now!
Here's our discussion starter for today, and the question is, what are some strange customs for holidays in your country?
Well, someone not familiar with St. Patrick's Day might think it's strange that we go around and pinch people who don't wear green on St. Patrick's Day, but hey, it's a reminder that St. Patrick's Day is a real holiday. Without the green and without the pinching, what would we have?
Well, people who don't celebrate Halloween probably wouldn't understand why we in America let our kids go from door to door, knocking on those doors and going trick-or-treating. Gee, how could you do that? How could you let your kids go to a perfect stranger's house and accept candy from them? How do you know that candy is not poisoned? Gee, I would never let my kid do something crazy like that.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.